Welcome, viewers, to another exciting episode of Canadian Mosaic as part of Awaz Entertainment. I'm your favorite TV show host, Prashanth, and I am super excited for this episode because I get to speak to a young individual's journey from technology to music. I have the privilege of speaking to a young artist who has made a career shift from technology engineering into music production. Tonight, our episode will focus primarily on art of production, technology, and so much more. I have the honor of introducing Shridhar from Chennai, India, who is a music producer, composer, as well as a vocalist. Was born in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. He has a bachelor's degree in biotechnology engineering and then pursued a diploma in audio engineering. Then, in KM Music Conservatory, which is actually A.R. Rahman's institution. He has a passion with cricket and everything related to music. Welcome, Shridhar. Namaskaram, namaste, vanakkam. How are you doing, my friend?
Hi, Prashanth. How are you doing? I'm doing really well. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. I'm really thrilled for this beautiful opportunity to be on Awaz Entertainment and to be attending this interview. Thank you so much for having me.
We are super excited and delighted to have you as part of the show, Shridhar. So let's get right into it. Can you tell us a little bit about your journey of, why you entered your music production and your career transition been from engineering to an artist? Because that's not something quite common to do, but you've actually done something to pursue your passions. And I would love to hear your take on what made you do that.
For sure. Um, to be very honest with you, the transition did not happen in the way that people expect it to be because these two things kind of happened hand in hand. Um, Wherever you go, you always find solace in your passion. That's why passions are there with you, and that's the reason why during my engineering, when I, halfway through engineering, when I was not extremely, pulled into that particular sector that I was doing, music was always a part of me, and that actually kept keeping me motivated throughout the entire journey. And that's when the bias towards music started getting a little bit more every single day. People say small drops make a mighty ocean. So yeah, so that's what happened. All those small little drops that kept building on over a period of time, maybe from my second year of college, second or third year of college. Um, just kept building on, and then suddenly we're doing this interview together, and it's been a wonderful roller coaster ride
Yeah.
until now, and I'm sure it's going to keep getting there, and that's why I love the adventure, love the thrill, and that's why I'm doing it. And it's been such a beautiful journey from then to now, and absolutely loving every bit of it.
Excellent, excellent. So, Sridhar, if I understand you correctly, so you actually started this while you're doing biotechnology. So, starting from your second year, if that's correct.
Yes,
Wow,
yes.
amazing. So, what did your biotechnology friends think? Like when you had told them that, hey, I actually want to do this full time, and you've pursued something very unique, like going to Dr. A.R. Rahman's school, and kind of did something specializing in audio engineering, and then now you're doing a lot of things into production. What is friends as well as family as well too? We are have this duty to our family and things like this. So share us your thoughts about your friends in biotechnology as well as your family as well.
To be very honest with you, I hadn't shared the fact that I was going to take music professionally with any of my biotechnology friends because I wasn't sure at the point, because it's always a little risky when you switch over from engineering to any other field that people term is not stable. So it was definitely not a very easy decision. I actually learned a lot during my 4 years of college because I had a very good music team in college, which I was unfortunately not a part of because I couldn't get through the audition and a lot of other things. But I did get to listen to them a lot, interact with them a lot, and get to learn a lot from them, and that actually made me feel that you know there is a lot more that is still not explored. There's a lot more to music, and how much ever you learn, there's always a huge expanse out there, and you
Yeah.
just have to go ahead and get all those things. So that's when I understood the thirst to find that expanse was more than what I had in my field of education, academia. So that's when I really knew that this is what I have to go after. And biotechnology friends were not a huge influence at that point, but then after my fourth year of college, I remember talking to my parents about getting a year's break until actually I was supposed to go for my master's degree in Australia to pursue food science and technology.
Wow.
I'd actually asked for a year's time from my parents, like, I just wanted to take some time off and, do some music. Um, I've been very, very fortunate that way because I am from a musical family. Nobody made it professionally, but my mom is a wonderful singer, my grandmother, and even my great grandmother. She was a composer, a violinist, and a singer. There's actually a big book, 100, maybe I think it's about 90 to 100-year-old diary that my grandmother still preserves, which has the songs that her mother had written. That's like that's something that like that's not available everywhere. That's a wonderful asset that we have. Which she still has it. The pages are all brown and old, but it's such a beautiful memory. So I did take a year off. I did a lot of music, did a lot of shows. Then I started doing research, like, okay, now what do I do next if I want to take this professionally? And it took some convincing for myself as well before, because you'll need to be 110% sure before you try to convince your parents about something. And all that happened, and I was actually really taken aback by the support that my parents gave when they heard this, and they were really support. Initially, they were shocked. I'm not going to deny that, but that was the initial shock. Like when anything
Yeah.
happens, that's your initial stimuli to that. But then they processed it in a very matured fashion, and they were really supportive. And I came to Chennai, got myself enrolled at KM, and everything else was such a beautiful journey after that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Would you say, like, your grandparents back home were one of the most inspirations, like, growing up? Because if I remember correctly, we did grow up in the same
Yeah.
neighborhood years ago. So would you say, like, all the things that we do through the festival season and everything, like, really kind of motivated you to kind of, really sink in? Because I do understand your grandmother and grandfather are artists themselves. And of course, your mother, of course, as well. So would you say those have always been inside of you, that whenever you were young, always had this passion, or is it something that kind of developed, like, when you're in university and college, like, you decided that, or were you always like this from at a young age?
To be very honest with you, I think you'll resonate with me on this. Being from South India, means any part of India, music is a very integral part of our culture. So let it be a wedding or any other function at home, music is always a very integral part. So that has been in me from a very young age because we've always had music in our genes as Indians. That's a part of our culture, and I actually grew up. When we grew up, we did not grow up in the times of tablets or phones for us to go to sleep or do something. So my mom used to sing me to sleep when I was very young, and I still remember days when I used to learn with me and my mom when we used to go to bed. She used to teach me a new melody every night, and for every competitions we go, she was the one who coached me with the songs and stuff. That was a very beautiful experience. So all those small things aggregated one after the other, and that's what's actually really pushed me, and my grandparents as well. Since both my parents were working, I grew up with my grandparents, and like there is this Margari festive season in Chennai that happened. That's extremely famous throughout the globe. My grandmother usually, switches on the turns on the TV and watches the kacheris that happened during that. So I was home when all this happened, and even though I was not very receptive at that point because I was not mature enough to understand the art form, since Carnatic music is a very, very challenging and what to say, I wouldn't say complicated, but you need a different level of maturity to be able to absorb that content.
Absolutely. And I
Uh,
think there's a lot of depth in Carnatic music because even I
Absolutely.
have, yeah. Talk us a little bit through that because that's really like, fundamentals of the classical music. Like, everything kind of happened from there. So can you tell a little bit about your exposure to Carnatic music and how you kind of got deeper into it and how that's kind of transcribed into how you became an artist as well? Because I'm sure that has a huge influence as an artist yourself.
Sure, sure, sure. So I had my first splash of Carnatic music when I learned from my mom's guru actually for a few months, not much. That's when I was first. I was, I think, in UKG, which is like about, I think, 5, 6 years old when I started learning. I mean, maybe even less than that, I don't remember. But then that was the first time I came across that Carnatic book that we have where we start learning our first lessons.
Yeah.
And then I learned from my second guru, who I managed to learn. I learned with her for the next 5 years. Her name was Mrs. Rosalind Francis. She was the one who actually started off my Carnatic journey, and I really had a great experience learning with her. And that's when she actually was a very open teacher. Didn't stick only to Carnatic. Taught a series of songs, small songs that we at that age enjoy.
Yeah.
And that's when the actual learning started. Then I had a little break where for about 2, 3 years where I did not have a teacher. Then again shifted on to another guru named Subramanian
Wow.
from Coimbatore itself. So he came home and taught me. So that I learned with him for another 4 years or so. Then it was time for my college, and then learning was happening passively. I did not actively take lessons or wasn't have a teacher. But now I learn advanced Carnatic from Mrs. Padma Shankar, who's my guru right now.
Wow.
She is she has actually changed what Carnatic music means to me in my mind. Um, like she's gone way beyond technicality, because some people regard Carnatic to be just technique and nothing, um, as not being as connected to the soul as maybe the other genres of music. But she's changed all that perspective for me, and what I'm learning now from her is something that I will keep with me forever. And that's going to really, when I coach somebody maybe in the future, I'm definitely going to take this forward. And I think Carnatic music needs that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Sridhar, like, I mean, I'd love to go deeper into this, into the music side of things, right? So, what is your creative process like? Because I'm sure 100% you must have a creative mind in order to create music of your own. And I do understand you have done things on your own as well as you sing the well-known song that's out there as well. What is your process like? Your thought process? Walk us through that a little bit about when you are writing your songs or writing your music and coming up with it. Walk us through. Like, I would love to hear your perspective as a young artist.
Okay, so there's one. I don't know whether this is generic or not, but this works for me. Some people say when you want to do something, keep your mind as blank as possible. But I'd say music or any art form is just a representation of your mental state and emotional state.
Yeah.
So you have to be going through something. Like it, I'm not saying it has to be a very big emotion or anything, but you will have to have some emotion going into you. So if you're blank, I don't think for me it will flood into some an idea maybe.
Hmm.
So I need to resonate with myself and make peace with what I am feeling at that moment.
Yeah.
And then um, I usually start off with a small. I just play piano, just to make my own stuff. So that's how I start off. And another thing with me is I don't know if this works with everybody else as well. People say you be when you're composing music, you can be as random as you want. But then for me, if I'm as random as that, I sometimes get stuck as to not knowing where to start and where to end. So
Hmm.
what I do is,
Yeah.
when I get into a concept, I start visualizing a story or a scene in my head.
Mm.
So what that does is it channelizes the randomness, which is also required for me. The randomness
Wonderful.
is the channelizing of the randomness is as important as the randomness is for me. So
Absolutely. Like it.
that helps me be in that zone, in the zone. Oh, sorry, you're
No,
sorry.
no. Continue, please. Continue. Yeah.
So yeah, so that helps me be in the present and in the zone. And every time I feel that whatever I'm doing is going out of that particular scope, I immediately roll back, and then that helps me come back into, like a reality check.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
That's like,
that's definitely something. So I think the creativity process is also an art. I think not only the outcome outcome of the process itself. Sridhar, like before going to the break, like it sounds like you've got a lot of gurus so far, including from your parents, grandparents, teachers, Cam, and so much more. What's the best advice that they've given to you so far? It could be from anybody. It could be a combination. So if you had to summarize, like one or two things that people have said to you, what would that be? And I would love for you to share it with us so that everybody that's watching who has this passion for creativity can kind of apply to that too. Because a lot of people I find is kind of stuck because they don't really explore the creative side until you really put your mind towards it. Exactly like what you said about the whole mindset and what mental state of mind you're at, right? So please share us some guidance that you've received so far.
um, like I would like to make a compilation of all what I've learned and say it in one simple way. It's nothing but you'll have to be in the present every single time and not worry too much about the future. Because whenever you're learning something new, you always think about where you will be 2 years back and forget to do what you have to
Yeah.
do today.
Yeah.
So and there are phases in life where, for example, uh, for a boy, when he reaches around 12, 13 years old, until he's about 16, 17, there is his voice breaking stage. That's when he'll have to take care of his voice a little better. There are certain things that happen naturally as well. It's not just the singing or practicing part of it. So you'll have to have the fine line between not leaving it too far, at the same time not practicing too much as well, because you might overstrain or anything.
Yeah.
Uh, each person has a different perspective towards this. Some people say the more I sing, the better my throat is. Some people say the lesser I sing, it keeps me in a better shape. That's just absolutely subjective. But one thing is, every time you get into the practice mode, you'll have to be totally present at that moment and
Yeah.
not even think about what you're going to sing next.
Yeah.
Because when you're singing a song, right, the line happens once, then you move on to the next. So if the song itself in the present, there is no use of your mind being in the future.
Yeah.
That's what I
No.
solely believe in. I think that's what people should concentrate on. Because I was talking to you about the blank state of mind that sportsmen say most of the time. Because
Yeah.
sports is an instinctive, is an instinctive art form where you cannot expect where the bowler is going to bowl. You cannot expect where the guy is going to hit the ball. It happens instinctively. But in music, it's not like that. You actually are given time. When you're composing music, it's not that the moment is going to pass away. Yeah, you can definitely capture the moment and keep building on it.
Yeah.
You can like record, if you get an idea immediately, you can record that, so that stays with you. That's going to propagate into something much
Yeah.
bigger, maybe, or maybe it doesn't amount to anything, but that's like that's absolutely in the state of mind of the person who's
No,
making the piece.
that is a really good piece of advice, Sridhar. So we'll be right back, folks, after a short commercial break while we get deeper into Sridhar's talent, as well look at the struggles of an artist, inspirations to keep going and keep being motivated as well. Stay tuned, everybody.
पूरे ऑन्टेरियो में लाखों लोग अपनी कोविड-19 की वैक्सीन हासिल कर चुके हैं। हेल्थ कनाडा की मंजूरशुदा तमाम वैक्सीन्स महफूज और अस्पतालों, डॉक्टर्स के दफातर, फार्मेसीज और अवामी वैक्सीनेशन के मुकामात पर हासिल हैं। अपना किरदार अदा करें, अपनी वैक्सीन हासिल करें। 300 जुबानों में मदद के लिए ontario.ca/book वैक्सीन पर जाएं या 1888-999-6488 पर कॉल करें।
2020 का लाजवाब ऑफर, जहां हम 0% फाइनेंसिंग पर आपकी मनपसंद कार दे रहे हैं, फ्री विंटर टायर्स, और साथ ही हम मुफ्त ऑयल चेंज भी दे रहे हैं, वो भी उम्र भर के लिए। अभी आएं और इस लाजवाब ऑफर का लुत्फ लें। जल्दी करें, आपका खुशामदीद हमारे आउटलेट में, जो कि 60 क्वींस प्लेट ड्राइव at intersection close to Highway 27 and Rexdale opposite to Woodbine Racetrack। जल्द से जल्द इस ऑफर का लुत्फ लें। आज ही कॉल करें सुनील अग्रवाल को 647-703-0218। GTA का सबसे ज्यादा देखा जाने वाला टीवी चैनल आवाज इंटरटेनमेंट के साथ मिलकर बनाए आपके बिजनेस को और भी बेहतर। हम आपके कंपनी या बिजनेस को एक अनोखे अंदाज में पेश करेंगे, जिससे आपके बिजनेस में और ज्यादा इजाफा होगा। हमारे फेसबुक, यूट्यूब और वेबसाइट को रोजाना लाखों लोग देखते हैं। हमारे पास हर किसी के एडवर्टाइजमेंट की जरूरत के हिसाब से पैकेज अवेलेबल हैं। आज ही 416-786-9809 पर कॉल करें और अपना एडवर्टाइजमेंट बुक कराएं। आवाज इंटरटेनमेंट, आवाज आपकी, चैनल हमारा। जुड़िए हमसे। डिक्सी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और अप्लायंसेस पिछले 16 सालों से खरीदारों की खिदमत कर रहे हैं। हम लगातार 4 सालों से खरीदारों की पहली पसंद बने रहने का अवार्ड हासिल कर चुके हैं। हम किचनर्स, बॉश, वर्लपूल, LG, सैमसंग और जनरल इलेक्ट्रिक के ऑथराइज्ड डीलर हैं। 5 स्टार खिदमत का लुत्फ लें। हम आप सभी को टीवी सबसे ज्यादा रियायती दामों पर देने की गारंटी देते हैं। www.dixieelectronics.ca हमारी वेबसाइट पर जाएं या अभी कॉल करें 9056255900। सभी बहुत ही मुनासिब कीमत पर दस्तयाब हैं, जो आप आसानी से ले सकते हैं। At Dixie, we sell quality and deliver confidence.
Things that's easily overlooked is like the struggles of an artist and what really they go through on a day-to-day basis and the challenges they really face going through the industry. So Shridhar, I want to talk a little bit about some of the challenge you faced so far and you are still facing, right? Because it is not an easy industry to get by, and I wanted to hear from you as a young artist. So what are some challenges that you have faced when you were at your early stages as well as now?
Before I start off with that answer, I'm going to say one sentence: the struggle is real. It's not something that people, just anything of that sort. Uh, you know, there are two kinds of struggle that I'd like to touch upon. The first one is when an artist is doing work, good work, and still doesn't manage to break into the scene. That's the first struggle as he tries to break into the scene. Given his total effort and all that. And then the second struggle is when you actually make it, you make it big. Then to endure that, to keep it going is the next struggle, the second struggle that you'll have to face. Because then you have the expectation tag on you every single time, and you're always under the radar. So the struggle doesn't end there. So that's when you look at people like A.R. Rahman sir. That's when you just have to take a bow to what he's done. He's managed to keep that reputation with himself for like 25, 30 years without it being tarnished. That's just insane. I don't have for the lack of a better word. That's why these people are in the place where they are right now. They've managed to stand the test of time. That's what keeps them apart. So, for example, very from the grassroots level, or when I started performing initially, I won't like to take names or say anything of that sort. But when I first started performing, even before I started taking music professionally in Coimbatore, before I took this plunge of coming to Chennai, I performed in a lot of places. I used to perform a lot. Like there was a time when I was performing every 10 days in Coimbatore, maybe even every week. But then people always used to get us in to perform in the name of exposure. They did not monetize us, and at that point we thought exposure is everything, and that's how we are instilled with. They'll say that you come here and perform. Those people coming here are going to give you bomb shows. Yeah, they gave us bomb shows, but the bomb was not for us. It was for somebody else.
Yeah.
So that was something that we had to endure, and that's one kind of a challenge. And if you are not like a celebrity, that's as people tag it. They always take you for granted, and it's not music is not like a sari in a silk house. It's not something you bargain for.
Yeah.
It's an art form, and it's high time people start respecting artists as artists and not brand them based on the position they are in. That's a struggle, that's a hustle that every independent artist goes through, which is definitely real. I am going through that. Definitely, it has lessened a lot over a period of time. And you kind of start making friends within your within the same professional mindset, and that kind of fades away over time. But yeah, every time it fades, a bigger challenge awaits you, which is, I think, generally the norm of life, right? Every time you get over one issue, you get faced with another one. That's what happens in music as well. But I see the times getting much better right now, where independent artists are getting the fame and and no, they get what they deserve,
Yeah.
thanks to YouTube and all other digital media platforms.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing that's happening, and
Yeah.
I hope it stays that way.
Yep. Yeah, I think what you're trying to say is that people are getting the right level of exposure the right way, rather than opposed to some of the incorrect ways that people are doing that. But I think when you are young, like I think everybody is looking for opportunities. But I think it's important to be mindful of the type of opportunities you take on, and I think it's a learning process. And I'm sure you're still learning as well too. So Sridhar, like I wanted to talk a little bit about your music as well. So can you walk us through the type of music that you're into? Because there's so many different varieties of music, right? So if you look at English music, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, classical. There's so many different types. So can you talk us a little bit about the type of music that you're interested in, and the type of collaborations that you would like to do in the future as well?
Yeah. Even this has changed. The perception of this has changed over a period of time, because I actually got in very late to English music, to Western music. Pretty late, because there was a time in my young age where I did not vibe with Western kinds of music. But now I've realized that every music has its own space, and only if you try to dig into that space, you get motivated to do more music. I've been very blessed to be in India, where music is a compilation of a lot of styles together. They don't any None of the movie songs that we listen to are hooked to one genre of music. So we have jazz inside Tamil songs as well, inside Hindi songs as well.
Yeah.
So we're exposed to different styles. Thanks to A.R. Rahman sir once again for getting the generation, that particular generation, hooked to all those different kinds of music, and always advocating the like need to listen to other forms of music if we have to build our own creativity.
Yeah.
I've always found a lot of solace in Hindustani music, and
Wonderful.
now over a period of time, like slightly towards Carnatic music as well. That emotional connect that you have, and I think it's also because of the wonderful teachers
Wonderful. Yeah.
who into that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sridhar, like all this talk about music, A.R. Rahman, classical thing is just making me so want to hear you play some music. And I know that you have a lot of favorite songs for A.R. Rahman, but what is one of your favorites? And we would love to see you play something for us, and it'd be a unique a treat to the audience. So would you be open to doing so on live television?
Definitely. I'll definitely sing a little piece of music for you. I've always been fascinated by the song Uire from the movie Bombay. That movie. Oh God, what the songs are all like. I cannot like prioritize one over the other. They are amazing songs. But this is one song that I sing a lot in wherever I perform, and I hope you enjoy. I'm going to be doing the Hindi version of that song. So this is Tu Hi Re for all of you.
Wonderful. Take it away, Sridhar, and hopefully you'll take us to the break after this as well. So take it away. The stage is all yours.
इन सांसों का देखो तुम पागलपन के आए नहीं इन्हें चैन मुझसे ये बोली मैं राहों में तेरी अपने बिछा दूँ ये नैन। इन ऊंचे पहाड़ों से जान दे दूंगा मैं, गर तुम ना आई कहीं। तुम उधर जान उम्मीद मेरी जो तोड़ो, इधर ये जहां छोड़ू मैं। मौत और जिंदगी तेरे हाथों में दे दिया रे। तू ही रे, तू ही रे, तेरे बिना मैं कैसे जीऊं। आजा रे, आजा रे, यूं ही तड़पाना तू मुझको। जान रे, जान रे, इन सांसों में बस जा तू। चांद रे, चांद रे, आजा दिल की ज़मीन पे तू। चाहत है अगर आके मुझसे मिल जा तू, या फिर ऐसा कर धरती से मिला दे मुझको। उई रे, வந்து என்னோடு கலந்து நினைவே आजादी बस जा तू। Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you.
That was excellent. That was so nice. It was like it's a blast from the past because it was in the 90s. You took us through a little bit of Hindi, a little bit of Tamil, and it was nice to rehear that in your own voice and your own song. That was lovely, Shridhar. This was amazing. Thank you so much. And we're going to take a quick commercial break, folks, and then we'll be right back after this. And don't go anywhere.
पूरे ओंटारियो में लाखों लोगों ने अपना कोविड-19 टीका लगवाया है। स्वास्थ्य कनाडा द्वारा अनुमोदित सभी टीके सुरक्षित हैं और अस्पतालों, डॉक्टरों के कार्यालयों, फार्मेसियों और सामूहिक टीकाकरण स्थलों में उपलब्ध हैं। अपनी भूमिका निभाएं, अपना टीका लगवाएं। वेबसाइट ontario.ca/book vaccine पर जाएं या 300 भाषाओं में सहायता के लिए 1-888-999-6488 पर कॉल करें।
2020 का लाजवाब ऑफर, जहां हम 0% फाइनेंसिंग पर आपकी मनपसंद कार दे रहे हैं, फ्री विंटर टायर्स, और साथ ही हम मुफ्त ऑयल चेंज भी दे रहे हैं, वो भी उम्र भर के लिए। अभी आएं और इस लाजवाब ऑफर का लुत्फ लें। जल्दी करें, आपका खुशामदीद हमारे आउटलेट में, जो कि 60 क्वींस प्लेट ड्राइव एट इंटरसेक्शन क्लोज टू हाईवे 27 एंड रेक्सडेल अपोजिट टू वुडबाइन रेस ट्रैक। जल्द से जल्द इस ऑफर का लुत्फ लें। आज ही कॉल करें सुनील अग्रवाल को 647-703-0218। आवाज एंटरटेनमेंट कनाडा का सबसे ज्यादा देखा जाने वाला उर्दू हिंदी टीवी चैनल अब दस्तयाब है सैटेलाइट और केबल पर। इंडिया, पाकिस्तान, सऊदी अरब, यूनाइटेड अरब इमिरात, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, न्यूजीलैंड, यूनाइटेड किंगडम और कई सारे मुमालिकों में दस्तयाब। दुनिया के कोने कोने में पहुंचेगी आपकी आवाज, सिर्फ और सिर्फ आवाज एंटरटेनमेंट के साथ।
Welcome back, folks, to Canadian Mosaic, and we are here with a young musician from Chennai, India, Shridhar Ramesh. Shridhar, that was a fantastic little tune that you played for us before the break, and Right now, like I want to play a little game with you because I always like to play a little game just to kind of have some fun before the end of the show. I like to call this React, so just wanted to get your reaction on some fun questions because we
Okay.
talked a little bit about music. So let's talk a little bit about something else outside of music, right? So some questions, just first thing that comes out of your mind, okay? All right. So chai or filter coffee?
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Chai or filter coffee when you are up in the
Coffee,
morning, or
coffee. Anytime coffee.
coffee? Coffee all the way?
Yeah.
Okay. How about this is a very tricky question, very specific to South India. So idlis or dosas?
Dosas.
Dosa, me too. Love it, love it. So another food question because food is something that is common. Biryani
Absolutely.
or fried rice?
Biryani.
Biryani, no hesitations whatsoever.
No hesitation.
Yeah, Sridhar, like if you want to look at famous producers and music singers and things like that, is there someone specific that, of course, A.R. Mansar is one of the folks that you're passionate about. Is there any other folks that you really would you like to collaborate with, or perhaps your inspiration as well? I'm sure there's tons, but we just want to hear what the young generation are thinking about these days.
Yeah. So, as you know, yeah, I actually got into Western music a little late, but now somebody who I've really looked upon with, like, somebody who does extremely crazy music is Jacob Collier. I've been listening to his stuff lately, and he's actually crazy, crazy in a very very nice way when it comes to music. And another person who I've just started listening to quite a lot is Charlie Puth. His music is also extremely amazing. It's like these people try to merge music with their real life, which makes it much more interesting because nothing can get more interesting and mixed up like life is. And when you get music in touch with your real life, it kind of gets really crazy, and I really love what they're doing. Some wonderful Indian artists as well that I listen to. Pratik Kuhad is one. Pratik Kuhad is an independent artist from India. He's a singer songwriter, and he's somebody I really look forward to. A lot of friends, like my friends, there are a lot of wonderful music producers out there. So those people are actually, I've over the period of time I've learned to find motivation and inspiration from everything that I see, because every art that comes out is coming out because it has a reason in it, and the owner of that reason is also the person who's composed it. So it's very important to understand that just because you don't resonate with some idea, it's not that the content is wrong, but you just don't have the maturity to accept that particular view that the actual creator has done. So I've learned to pull in inspiration from every piece of content, and
Absolutely.
that's actually helped me progress as a musician a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think as an artist, you are inspired by many, not just one. Because how you become an artist yourself, right? Like I don't think there's any one person precisely. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, that's amazing. So let's go back to those questions one more time. So when it comes to desserts, are you more of a vanilla person or strawberry or chocolate?
Vanilla.
Vanilla. Okay. So Sridhar, like, what's your favorite drink of all time? So we talked about it, but coffee, tea. But what's your favorite drink of all time?
Mm, I really love this drink in Madurai called Jigar Danda. Have you heard of that?
Yes. For the
That's
folks, can you tell us a little bit of what that is? Because not everyone might be aware of it. So tell us what Jigadanda is.
Yeah, Jigar Danda is like the traditional drink from Madurai. It's a sweet dish. It's like a paisam or a kheer, or that's something people will definitely understand. So it's very very good for the hot climate because it really reduces your body temperature, and it's like a paisam of sorts, which has some kaskas and all those flavoring. And if anybody of you watching the show are coming to India, please make it a point to go to Madurai and have a glass of Jigardanda. I'm sure you'll not regret it.
No, Madurai has a lot of historical places to see, so that's definitely one of the destinations in South India that everyone needs to
True.
look into as well. Sridhar, so I wanted to ask you, who has been the biggest support in your life? I think you mentioned, your family and everybody, right? So would you say that, support is key for an artist, for anybody really? Who has it been in your life, and why?
Um, of course, it has to be my parents because they've always been pillars of support right from, like take any time. They've always been there for me. And come what may, they always have given me their ideas, and they've always kept me motivated to to be okay with failing once in a while. I think the cushion that somebody gives you at a point you fail is much more important than the praises they give you when you succeed. And
Definitely.
they've always been very, very mindful of that, and they've always treated the failures and the successes on the same level, and they've instilled that into me as well. So I think they've been a huge pillar of support. And then, to be very honest with you, I get a lot of support from the places where I perform,
Mm.
because audience is always your driving force. Because what anything else cannot give you that one applause from the audience can.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody says, "Wow, you made my evening." That's going to take me, to cloud nine. Cloud 99. That's like
Yeah.
that's. I think support comes in small chunks. It doesn't have to be that one person who helps you financially, or it doesn't come like that. Sometimes it can be as small as somebody saying, "Wow, good job."
Yep.
It can
Yeah.
be a very random person. So it's very important for somebody not to go in search of support. Rather, it's better if he, gets to do his trade in whatever field he is in, and do it to the fullest of his capacity. And that support is only going to keep coming. If he's an entrepreneur, if he does good work, investors are going to come in. They are going to be his support system. Or if it's going to be somebody in the music industry, somebody is definitely going to catch hold of him. Or it can be a music label, it can be a music director, or whatever. Somebody is going to pick you up, and that's also support.
Yeah.
So I think it's very good. It's a very nice thing to see support in a very open format, rather than seeing like this person has always been doing this for me, that for me. It's not material anymore. Sometimes it's definitely spiritual as well.
Wonderful, wonderful. No, that's a brilliant answer. So, Sridhar, we have a couple more questions, and then we're gonna have to wrap it up. So, tell us a little bit about the active project that you're working on, because I understand you have a lot of things on the go. Tell us a little bit about it, and maybe we'll get a sneak peek at one of your own singing as well, own writing, production, everything as well. So, tell us
As
about what you're working on right now that we have to look
so
out for.
yeah. So right now I've been working on a few songs. I've been working on a set of 7 songs. Um, as 7 different singles, and each of them has a story of its own. As I told you, my process works that way. And one thing really interesting about this particular album is I have 2 songs for this album that I composed when I was in college. That was the time that I really found out that I could actually do some original piece of content. I performed. I didn't perform those songs live in college festivals and stuff. So I managed to, I mean, those songs have always been very close to me, and I'm super excited to, put those songs into this series, and I've been working on a few. And this particular set of 7 songs, there is one song that's extremely, extremely special to me, because that song, I mean, not that the other ones aren't special, but this is the first of its kind of a song, because I penned the lyrics for that song, which I'm really, really happy about. And that song is called Kanavugal. Kanavugal means dreams in Tamil. So this song talks about a person who is standing on a crossroads, where there are many roads in front of him, where he's seeing one road which is parental or peer pressure, one is self-expectation, one is fear of losing out, and lot of that. So this song does not just ask him to just go ahead and get motivated to do things in life, but at that position that he is in, we capture that particular moment, and that's what this song is about. The song ultimately says, whatever happens, even at the roughest of your times, uh, kangal marayade, kanavugal mayade, which means kangal is eyes. Your eyes are never closed, and because of that, your dreams are never wiped off. That's what this song means.
Looking forward to it. That's a lot of in-depth meaning behind that, Sridhar. So before we wrap up, would love to hear something unique that we haven't heard of before. So maybe one of yours, tell us about the song, and then just a quick thing before we wrap up. Go ahead. Stage is all yours.
Yeah. So I will perform the same song. I'll perform Kanavugal for all of you. It's I just explained you the story behind it. So I hope that you enjoy this song, and the moment I'll definitely keep all the viewers notified when the song is out for a release. And yeah, here it goes.
So this is in Tamil, if I'm correct,
Yeah,
Sridhar. So this is
this
a
is
Tamil
this is
song. Okay.
absolutely yes.
Wonderful. Take it away.
ஓராயிரம் கண்கள் ஓராயிரம் கனவுகள் ஓராயிரம் பாதைகள் ஓராயிரம் கவிதைகள் மழையிலும் புயலிலும் வெயிலிலும் பனியிலும் கண்கள் மறையாதே கனவுகள் மாயாதே கண்கள் மறையாதே கனவுகள் மாயாதே. Yeah. Thank you so
Wow,
much.
that was really, really nice. So, like, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming on the show, and it's so nice to get a taste of South India through your voice and music because the show is called Canadian Mosaic. So the whole point of the show is to bring in a bunch of different cultures and diversity and show what it truly means to follow your passion. That's the take that I've taken when I've been on the show. And it's on behalf of the viewers and Awaz Entertainment, we would like to wish you all the very best in your journey.
Thank you so
Unfortunately,
much.
that's
Thank
all
you
the
so much.
time that we have for today. And this is your host, Prashanth, and as part of Canadian Mosaic. And if you've enjoyed the show, please do follow us on social media. Remember, a support system is key when you're venturing through the creative space. That has been shown by Shridhar as well as plenty of other guests in the past. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you same time next week and signing off for the time being. Take care.